How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG, which ended up having a green day. They also did release some news that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video for today as well. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the recent update that came out today. Why we had all that momentum that was pushing through inside of the pre-market, but then when we got into the open, strong sell-off. Hey, we'll talk about that. And then afterwards, we're going to be doing the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance and what we want to look forward to going into tomorrow. And I'm going to give you guys two scenarios, which is going to be the bullish case scenario and as well as the bearish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. Are shorts still heavily vested inside of this play? We're going to find out. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. Are institutions purchasing shares? What's happening on the retail side? Is there a lot of buying or was there a lot of selling, especially when we ended up getting the news that we got today? And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So let's go over the recent news update that came out for BBIG. So brief, AdRiser has agreed to be acquired and will be fully integrated to monetize a Lomotive platform. Vinco Ventures terms of the deal include $25 million in cash with remaining amount in equity of Zash common stock. Vinco Ventures common stock will have a 2-year lockup upon closing. It's always great to hear about that lockup because when you don't have that lockup, you just don't know. These shareholders be like, all right, I'm going to be selling out and so forth. But it was great to see at the end of that part, they had a lockup. And of course, this gives a lot of investors confidence. And this is part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some strong price action inside of the pre-market. But we did end up having a strong sell-off. Yes, I know many of you were sending me messages saying, man, that is so frustrating. Why did they go ahead and do that? Another thing to be aware of, this play has a lot of manipulation in it, and it also does have a lot of bag holders in it. So the moment you have strong price action, especially many bag holders are going to be like, oh, so I can get out at a much better price. All right. So I just want to make sure that is something that you're aware of, and it's part of the reasons why we see that selling pressure in the pre-market and then going into the open. So now let's jump into the technical analysis. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.34, being up 6.59%. On the low, it tested $5.24, and then on the high, testing $6. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 77.641 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 34.679 million shares. So we almost doubled our average volume, but do keep in mind we had a lot of selling pressure right at the open there. We had a big jump inside the pre-market, but hey, we'll talk about that. So now we're going to be taking a look at the chart. This is the 1-year daily chart. You can see from the RSI down below, we are right around 42.89. And when we take a look at the moving averages on our chart, we have strength above the 200-day. We also have strength above the 100-day, but we did finish below the 50-day and we have been below the 21-day EMA. So taking everything into consideration, we ended up seeing a high at the market open of $6 before being sold off. So one thing that we can clearly see, this $6 level is a strong area of resistance. This is a psychological level. There's a lot of profit taking, and we've already spoken about this, that there's a good amount of bag holders that are in this play. So once they see that spike, they are going to be selling. So you just got to understand that. As far as where we were shown to have some strong support, yeah, we tested 524 on the day, but you can see clearly right here, 530 is definitely well known for being a good area of support. You can see this in the past over here as well. So going into tomorrow, what do you want to see? You want to see a continuation of BBIG being able to hold up 530. And if it could hold up 530, I want to look forward to seeing that retest when it goes to 6. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for BBIG. So let's see. We have the dark pool short volume ratio at 25.31, and then we have the dark pool short volume right at 2.7 million. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 26.50. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 400,000, updated just now. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 27.69%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see the close for October the 5th being at 32.00, and then the close for the 6th, which was yesterday, being at 25.31. So we do see a decrease there in the short volume, so that is very interesting due to the fact today has already happened and we ended up getting that news and so forth, and also that big jump inside of the pre-market. Did some shorts, especially institutional or maybe funds and so on, did they have any idea that a catalyst was going to be coming, so they wanted to cover their positions? Who knows? But at the end of the day, BBIG still continues to have short squeeze potential, and that's part of the reasons why we're going to continue to keep this play on the radar. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we can see on the inflow it was 82.93, and then on the outflow it was 73.30. So we had 1.29 on the large. On the medium, we had 57.38, and then on the small, we had 24.26. On the outflow side on the large, we had 1.66. On the medium, we had 52.91, and then on the small, we had 18.73. So overall, ended up having an inflow day. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for October the 7th, having that outflow day there at 377.52. What am I talking about? That was actually for today. So one thing to keep in mind, we had institutions who were selling out a lot of shares. There could have been some profit taking and so forth. But one thing that we can clearly see here on the retail side, there was a lot of buying that was going on. As you can see, we had 24.26 million versus 18.73 million. And we also did see a surplus on the medium orders with 57.38 versus 52.91. I know what you're saying. Hey, that is not a big difference when it comes to the medium-sized orders. And that is exactly true. But one thing that tells us there was a lot of profit taking overall for the day. You could see in the pre-market, we were as low as like $4.94 and then made a run all the way to $6.45 before selling off. So again, this could be the shorts because again, this is why I don't like trading in the pre-market. It could be exposed to a lot of manipulation due to the fact the volume that we normally get during regular trading hours is just not the same. Not many people are available to trade. So keeping that in mind, I would love to see how BBIG performs going into tomorrow. And I will talk about that inside of the final thoughts. So let's get to it right now. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, I'm going to continue to keep this play on the watch list. And part of the reasons being is whenever you see a lot of volume coming through this stock, we end up seeing some strong moves in price action. It brings in a lot of FOMO. A lot of people get excited about it. And that's part of the reasons why when that news came out earlier today inside of the pre-market, we ended up seeing that spike. I know I sound like a broken record here, but this stock was literally at $4.94 and then ran up to around like $6.45. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is around $6.45. That is crazy. And then it just sold off. As soon as when it got into the open, and it sold off even further. So there's two things that could have happened here. It's either number one, there was a lot of manipulation going on in the pre-market and the shorts are trying to drive the price down. One scenario. And then the second scenario is there was profit taking and many people just wanted to unload their bags. You got to think about it. Look at the psychological aspect here. Many people who are holding shares, maybe they had a cost basis when it was around 9, maybe when it was around 10, maybe when it was around 7. And then they see this stock spike up all the way around $6.40. They're going to be like, hey, I'm going to be selling out. I've been seeing this stock trade at $5 for quite a while, even being at the low 6s and struggling to actually get above 6, and my cost average might be around 8 or 7. So again, I am not trying to sound like a bear here, but we have to make sure that we're looking at things from different perspectives. And I feel that has a lot to do with the price action that we saw in pre-market, and part of the reasons why it was unable to hold its gain. But the good part about it is that BBIG was able to finish green on the day. So what I want to see going into tomorrow is seeing it being able to hold up $5.30. I feel like if it could hold $5.30, especially going into the open, we could see some momentum and probably make another test going to $6. That would be the most preferable situation here. If it does decide to pull back and break through that $5.30, hey, I don't even have to tell you. You're already familiar with those levels. We've talked about them already, and at that point, you're just going to want to make sure to see it hold up 5. But in regards to next week, I know many of you are like, hey, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to in regards to the catalyst, and this is exactly true. But please do not be in this play depending on hope. That is not the right way to go about doing things. And also making sure that you have the right risk management. It is just crazy. People are just telling me, hey, man, I got like thousands of shares. I know this thing is going to be going to the moon and blah, blah. And I'm like, hold up, relax. Is this a get-rich-quick scheme for you? What are you treating the stock market as? A vending machine? Again, I always want to make sure I emphasize this, because usually when you have greed and you have emotions getting in the way, then that's a time when a lot of people end up holding bags, or they end up missing out on really big profits. Like I was saying before, I am not telling you guys to sell, but I just want to make sure that you have a strategy. So if your strategy is to hold this play for another week, a month, or even a year, then that is great. I just want to make sure you know exactly what you're doing before you push the buy button, and also before you push the sell button. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.